Hey guys, welcome to Soviet Mission 2. Now, I've decided to do something a little different for this mission. I will be doing so for some of the future missions as well. I have demonstrated more than one strategy for this mission and I have uploaded separate videos to show them. The link to that other strategy is located in the description and will also show up as a link towards the end of this video. I did this mainly because, well, if you've seen my other alert videos, you would have noticed me talking about alternate strategies for certain missions. So I thought, why only tell you about the strategies when I can show you them as well? Okay, one strategy will always be faster than the other, sometimes by a great amount. In fact, I will be placing them in order from longest time taken to shortest time taken. So in this case, strategy 1 will take longer than strategy 2. However, both strategies will be fast enough to be under part-time. This has been our goal for this video series after all. Also, I figured that with some strategies, they will be easier for some people more than others. So if you have trouble with one strategy, you could always try another. I won't be doing this for all missions, however. Some of them are more straightforward than others are. Some of them I may have one great strategy, but all the rest are not up to scratch. Also, I'd rather show good strategies that are not cliched, such as, well, training a bunch of rocketeers and hitting the enemy base. No offense to those who use this often. I know it's a very effective strategy, but I'd rather show strategies that are different and more unique. If you haven't noticed, I tend to use different strategies for each mission, using my resources as effectively as possible. Most missions I tend to only use whatever forces I get at the start or whatever reinforcements I get later on. The second strategy I've posted for this mission does this to a degree. However, right now we will be starting with strategy number 1. This strategy involves us going head-on into the enemy base. This will require us to build a crapload of forces consisting of tanks and conscripts. Well, basically because that's all we really have. Mostly conscripts to breach their defences, mainly also because the enemy has a crapload of tanks as defence themselves. Now, we go with conscripts because matching the enemy tank for tank will result in a lot of tanks lost, and they are pretty expensive. Conscripts, though, being a dime a dozen, will be a suitable substitute and will be the vanguard of this assault. This is all brute force right here. You may remember me mentioning brute force tactics as a valid strategy. And like I said at the time, it is sometimes the best way to beat a mission. Now, with the amount of forces we're building, we will be able to take out all enemy forces pretty quickly, especially the ore miners, who tend to troll you by parking right next to your construction yard after their base is destroyed. I've had this happen to me many times, as I'm sure a lot of you have as well. This is annoying, to say the least. So once we make sure that, I remember actually mentioning it before, make sure you destroy the ore miners as soon as possible, otherwise they will just waste more time. Now, once the barracks was built, we trained some engineers so that we could capture these ore refineries here. Now, of course, we captured them to get the money crates. They give us a huge boost, and they're there, so why not? At the same time, I built my own ore refinery. I've never tried it before, but I think it's plausible to just skip building the ore refinery in the first place and build 2 miners once you get the war factory up. You wouldn't be able to get some cash inflow coming in for a while, but you'd save money on not building another refinery. The money crates give you enough of a cash boost if you to do so if you don't spend money on much else. I think either way is fine in this mission, so it's up to you in the end. Once we actually do build the war factory, we of course build another ore miner on top of the one we already have to speed up the money coming in. If you've watched my other videos, you would know that this is not a common thing for me to do. Usually I would build 2 ore refineries before I start with the war factory or the radar. In later missions, I tend to build a 3rd miner from the factory to get even more money. We have 3 refineries in this case, so there's no need to build another. Back in my early days of playing this game, I used to go straight into a war factory after a single ore refinery and then build another ore miner. For some reason, I would always be short of cash when I did this, so I decided to switch to building 2 refineries from the start, and I've never looked back. In this mission, you only need 2 ore refineries at the most. So what did I do? I thought maybe getting rid of one of the oil refineries was beneficial, so I sold it. And guess what? Didn't really help that much. Selling one of those oil refineries barely gives you enough cash to relieve any money problems, so don't rely on it in a pinch. Now, don't let the number of tanks that I'm building fool you. You won't need that many, at least not in the initial strike. As you can tell right here, we just continue building our forces while this group faces the enemy. Now, what I did is I sent the conscripts in first. They take the brunt of the attack while the tanks lay back and attack the grizzlies. Now, you might need to do some maneuvering every now and then, because once you're down on conscripts, the rest of the forces will attack the rest of the enemy forces will attack your tanks. And so once that happens, you may be in a bit of trouble, so be best to maneuver around them. Now, if you're lucky enough, you will get an elite Rhino tank eventually. When this happens, you'll be able to clear those forces pretty easily. Now, this is something that I shouldn't have done, a little bit stupid here. I decided to move my submarines to attack the destroyers. You won't need to do that, leave them where they are to defend the shipyard. The thing is, if you decide to send your submarines out to fight the destroyers, you're going to have to keep an eye on them. In this case, I did not, so yeah, you'll see the consequences of that later on. Okay, now we are close to the construction yard. Once we destroy it, the enemy will sell all their buildings like they usually do in most missions. Once that happens, we just have to sit here and wait for them to come to us, and we can destroy them. However, once the chronominers are within range, we will switch our targets to them. We want to make sure that the chronominers are destroyed before they decide to head to our base. There they are. They will stand no chance against these tanks. They will fall very quickly, especially with the elite tank with them. Yeah, they will go down very quickly, and they're down. Nice. Okay, now this is what happens when you move your submarines away from the shipyard and forget about them. So, like I mentioned, you don't need to move them at all. Keep them there and you should have no problem taking care of the destroyers. I did build quite a few submarines myself, maybe too many. The most you will need to build is around 2 or so. The rest you get from the reinforcements that came earlier in the mission. So use that money for more tanks instead if you run the risk of running out of money. Otherwise, if you're filthy rich, do whatever you like. It is your money. Just make sure that you build a shipyard, otherwise the destroyers will attack the submarines instead. Since we have no sea scorpions in this mission, without a shipyard, chances are that the subs will not make it, and you will take a little longer to complete the mission. It's actually rather annoying. But yeah, once the destroyers are gone, it is mission accomplished, and we have done it in 8 minutes 7 seconds. Pretty reasonable time. However, it can be done faster, and that's what I'm going to show you with strategy number 2. So if you'd like to see mission 2 done faster, please click the link in the description or on the screen right now to see the strategy. Alright, that was strategy 1 for Soviet mission 2. I'd like to thank you for watching, subscribe to see more videos, and I will see you for either strategy 2 of this mission or Soviet mission 3, which will only have one strategy this time. Thanks for watching.